Hello everyone, I am Screen Scene Guru, and today I'll be discussing some movie news. I'll also be showing off a little bit of swag. If you guys can see back there on one of my shelves, I got a Yautja Predator mask for the new Predator Badlands. Really exciting stuff. I picked that up from Walmart, if you guys are excited about that. Let's get into some movie news real quick. So starting off, I have been watching Star Wars Visions. It is a really awesome show, guys. Highly recommend it if you haven't caught it already. Going on to some other news. Let's see. We are now in day 35, I believe, of the government shutdown. Longest government shutdown in history for our country. It beats the last record of 30 days. Talking about leading to SNAP funds being, suspended for a lot of Americans, a lot of families that depend on them. Certain states are declaring a state of emergency because of this, food insecurity. The USDA had a lawyer or a judge rule that Trump had to pay the SNAP benefits, but then Trump tried to confuse people on Truth Social by saying there are no funds to pay them. So very interesting stuff there. Dick Cheney unfortunately passed at the age of 84. Former Vice President Dick Cheney. A lot of people likened him to when news started to become opinionated. He was the one focusing on Fox News and other outlets, becoming way more about social commentary than actual news, fact-based driven commentary. So a lot of people were kind of upset when they heard about his passing, but a lot of people were also relieved, which is kind of an interesting thing. Brendan Fraser has recently come up in the news, in the trades. I recently watched his movie Journey to the Center of the Earth for the first time. It's now on Netflix, and I thought it was a fantastic film, an interesting take on a journey, adventure story. I thought it was really cool to see Brendan Fraser in something I hadn't watched him in before. It was a first time watch. And real quick, let me pull up the cast, because they did have a stacked cast for that movie. IMDb, trusted source. And then go to JOR. To the Center of the Earth, 2008, guys. This was early aughts. Brendan Fraser. It was only an hour and 35 minutes, or an hour 33. So not that long. It's PG rating. New Line Cinema, one of my favorite companies. It's from Eric Bergvin. So I've never heard of that director either. On a quest to find out what happened to his missing brother, a scientist and his nephew and their mountain guide discover a fantastic and dangerous world in the center of the Earth. So very interesting stuff here. It kind of connects to Godzilla Kong or other fantasy franchises, if you will. But this is a really long running franchise, Journey to the Center of the Earth. Disney has owned it for years. I believe there's even a Disney Plus show now in 2025. I haven't watched the series, but just learning that it was an IP that has been rebooted several times is a fascinating thing to me. So I thought I'd bring that up to you, the audience. But going into the stars, we of course had Brendan Fraser. We had Josh Heckerson, and then Anna Briam. And she's Icelandic, an Icelandic actress, which I thought was really fun to add into the show. Their mountain guide, I originally thought she was like a student of theirs, but they do a bit of romance at the end of the film where she kisses Brendan Fraser, and I was like, no, isn't she supposed to be a student scientist? But I guess she's 18, which is kind of funny. But they wanted it literally. They were copying Universal and the Mummy movies. They saw the success of the Mummy movies in the early aughts, and then Disney contracted him to do this journey to the center of the Earth. So I thought that was really funny too. And then Josh Heckerson has been in a lot of stuff. He's been in Hulu stuff. So that's really cool. Seth Meyers was like the professor that got Brendan Fraser's lab. He's been in a lot of TV. But yeah, interesting stuff. Let's see. The Icelandic actress was pretty good. Atina Briem. Looking into what she's done. She's been in Tudors. So you know that was really good. But yeah, and then she was in A Letter from Helga in 2022. Dylan Dog, Day of Night, 2010. And she was in the Justice League 2017, the Joss Whedon Justice League. So that's really cool. What else was she in? Known credits. BFFs, The Minister. I've never heard of that. New Year's Lampoon. Many. As Long as We Live. So yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff, guys. It's out of the country stuff. So it might not have been seen a lot. But yeah, she's been in a lot. But yeah, I really liked her performance. I thought it was great. Let's go into Josh Heckerson real quick and see what he's... Five Nights at Freddy's, right? He's a classic horror icon actor because of the Five Nights at Freddy's film. They're going to do a Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in December, I believe. So that's really cool. He's a director, producer, actor. I didn't know that. Let's see, what was the last thing he was in? Hunger Games. He was in Hunger Games. All of them. Zathura, Space Adventure in 2005. God, he was in that. I Love L.A., which is a new series on Max I haven't heard of. Well, I've seen the trailers of it, but I haven't watched it. The Studio. He was in The Studio with frickin'... Oh gosh, who was... Not Franco, but the other one. Seth Rogen? Yeah, I think. Yeah, Seth Rogen. Long Gone Heroes. The Beekeeper. He was in The Beekeeper. I seen that. Five Nights at Freddy's. Ultraman, the TV show. So he's been in a lot. Future Man. That's the one I was thinking of. He was in a Hulu series called Future Man, where he played video games. But yeah, really cool to see him in this, of course, and of course Brendan Fraser, who is really getting big roles right now because, of course, after his role in The Whale, which was iconic, coveted film cinema, he went on to do, I believe he's got a film out right now. Let me see what he's got on his IMDb. Because it said he was in a lot. Let's see. He's got The Whale. God. Let's see what this one is. Rental Family. Okay, 2025 Rental Family. And this looks like it's going to be a really good film as well. Oscar potentials, possibly. And on the heels of him shooting this, he was recently on the red carpet talking about how he'd like to return to the Mummy franchise. He wants to do a Mummy 4, which is really exciting news for us, fans of the Mummy. But also, he wanted to bring up real quick the cast. Fly real quick. Oh yeah, he wanted to bring back Rachel Weisz, his wife, because she was iconically cut from the third film, Tomb of the Emperor, and replaced with another actress because she had conflicting shooting times. But apparently he wants to bring her back. He wants to shoot Mummy 4. He doesn't care what the script is. I've been really advertising and promoting. They need to bring back John Hannah, the brother of Rachel Weisz, the con man. He's beloved by many. He was in Spartacus as the slave runner. But he's been getting really big in television for the last few years. So bring him back, put him in the movie. We're not really sure if Arnold Varsu, also, Imhotep, will return. A lot of people want him to return, but we're not sure what the role would be. Also, there's been some speculation online that The Rock could come back to the franchise as well. Hopefully, they'll do him better, pay him more respect than The Mummy Returns with that scorpion bad CGI. I'm not sure if they'll give him an actual role to play because he was only in the Mummy Returns, and then they spun off and did a Scorpion King franchise, but he was only in 2 of those movies, and then they replaced him with younger actors. But I would really like to see him return, as well as Patricia Velquez, A Knocks on the Moon. I'd like to see her back, or maybe someone that plays her role. But yeah, really cool stuff there about the Mummy 4 coming back. Let's go into some movie news. I talked about Dick Cheney dying, which was really sad. The Mummy news we recently heard in the last couple days. Now, on to The Running Man. Very interesting news here, guys, coming out from Glenn Powell about this new movie that's about to drop. He apparently took Arnold Schwarzenegger to the screening of Running Man, and all he said was, "It's great, it's fantastic, it's truly a masterpiece." So that's very interesting things coming from Arnold, the GOAT of action films. Him saying to Glenn Powell that it was awesome, amazing, a masterpiece. It was very interesting words to hear from his movie, Running Man, being rebooted now truly as the Bachman book was, in the year 2025. The iconic slogan was, "A good man doesn't run for president, he runs for his life." So that's very interesting. But Variety talked to the Ellisons about Paramount, where they're going to go with the network and how their direction will be. They talked about how it's kind of going towards MAGA, which is very interesting to bring that up in conversation, because I think a lot of people have been disenfranchised by the MAGA movement. But they discussed Star Trek. Apparently they're not going back to the Kelvin timeline, the Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana movies. They're apparently done with those. We aren't going to get a Star Trek 4, which a lot of people were hoping for, which is shocking news to hear that they're not going in that direction. But it makes sense financially. David Ellison kind of spoke about how the actors and actresses have become too big to come back, which I would say very much so. They also talked about South Park being renewed for 2 more seasons. It got announced it's going to have, I believe, season 25 and 26, whatever season they're on. And they have movie deals, big movie deals. They talked about the UFC fight on the White House lawn as well. So if you're interested in that stuff, go see that Variety article and read all about it. Predator Badlands, like I said, it's the highest rated in the franchise for the tomato score on the Rotten Tomatoes meter. It was in the 80s the other day when it came out. Now it's in 90%. That's higher than the original Arnold and all of the other franchise movies combined. So that's really cool to hear. Even Ridley Scott said that the Yautja in the film looks stunning, looks amazing, which is funny to hear Ridley Scott talk about in a Predator movie, because it's not even his franchise. But Ridley Scott apparently loved the look of the Predator. So that's interesting to hear. A lot of people were speculating whether or not they would like the new design after Prey. They took their liberties and changed the look of Predator in Prey when they made him feral. But now it looks like he's unblooded. He's a wild Yautja. It's on his first hunt, trying to get his blood bleeding, whatever. Glenn Powell discussed, he showed Arnold the whole, Running Man movie. He loved it, which is interesting news to hear. But then Arnold came up in the news yet again, which is funny to hear. He is supposedly up to reprise his role in the Predator franchise. Now, we haven't heard what he thinks of the movie yet. We haven't seen if he's seen it. But apparently Arnold said he is going to play Dutch, the main human from the first film. He's going to reprise his role in a significant way. He didn't say how. He just said Dutch has a significant role to play in the upcoming Predator films. So that's very interesting news to hear on the heels of this Predator Badlands getting rave reviews, Ella Fanning in it. Now Arnold wants back, apparently, which is something we've waited for years. Terminator fans of Arnold, we've waited for him to come back. And now he says he's back in Predator. Nintendo plans on building out an entire big, expansive universe with Illumination Studios. We already saw the results of their 2023 Super Mario Brothers, which I liked it. I thought it was a little bit meta with the idea of the real world and the Mario world and how they had to kind of go back and forth. I do hope they're going to go further into the lore with this sequel coming out in 2026. We've got Super Mario Brothers Galaxy, and then in 2027 we've got our live action Legend of Zelda film. And they said, Nintendo, we're not done there. We're continuing the slate consecutively, year after year. They want to come out with different projects of the Nintendo universe. So it's not just Mario Brothers. I know a lot of people think Mario Brothers, they've already got a Donkey Kong spin-off in the works. So there's other things coming down the line. Jonathan Majors, I do want to bring him up real quick because during Halloween, he did do a press photo shoot for his Halloween costume. Him and his wife, Megan Good, from the Shazam franchise. She was the young black girl that got superpowers in their family. They recently got married, which congratulations to them. But they also showed off their Halloween costumes during Halloween celebration. And the first photo shoot they did was Rama Tut. It was Egyptian, where she was, of course, Aphrodite. He was an Egyptian lord or pharaoh, which I thought was very interesting. It reminded me of the Kang the Conqueror variants when they showed off the Egyptian variant at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I didn't know if it had any connection, but I did want to bring it up here. You guys can check out the photos online for yourself. And then their second outfit, I believe Megan Good was dressed as Storm, and then Jonathan Majors dressed as Blade. So they were mocking, basically making fun of Marvel with this photo shoot of their Halloween costumes. And I think it was a slight on the public, the audience, that, yeah, we're back. We're coming back to Marvel because they're dressing like Marvel. They're doing all this stuff. I think Jonathan Majors might have a role in Doomsday. Not sure about that. It's just a rumor, but it would make sense. We had a really big election turnout, guys. The Democrats got a big push towards getting a new mayor and a new governor in place in certain cities. So that's really good to try to combat the craziness that the Republican Party has been pushing all year. Even the Republicans have come out against this administration, saying they've been pushing too far, too fast. We also had a plane crash in Louisville, which was really shocking to see. 12 people got injured, died on the ground. It was a FedEx plane that was 35 years old. It had gone up 3 times previously that day. So they've just been, and it was out of commission the previous month. In the month of October, it had been out for maintenance and repairs all the way up to a week before the crash. So these planes are just super old. Pat Duffy, the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, and NASA, funny enough, recently said he's cutting flights by 10%, which is over 100,000 planes in the air. So a lot of people are very curious about why they're slowing the transportation between states. They're wondering what's going on here. A lot of people are upset about the current state of affairs of the country. But I think we all got to pull together. We got to do what's right. We got to help our own, help our American fellow citizens. I recently saw a clip where the Satanic Church has been donating food to people in food insecure areas, and of course the Vatican and the devout Roman Catholics and the others have demonized the Satanic Church for handing out food supplies, which is so interesting that Catholics are now going after the Satanic Church for giving people food. Very shocking news. But what do you guys think of all this stuff? I do want to go into one more thing before I leave. Physical media and the theaters. So we just had our lowest box office in 30 years for the theaters, and it's showing. The theaters are screaming out, we're dying. They need people to come out, and they are waiting for people to come out. I think 2026 is going to be a real outliner. We just got our trailer for Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic, which looks like it's going to be very good, coming out next year. It's going to be, I think, a two-parter coming out. We've got several other projects that they've announced, but I do want to go into right now physical media. I picked up my copy of F1. I'm not sure how well you can see it with the ring light. Try to bring it back. But this is the Blu-ray of F1. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to be doing a review of it, watching it. But I heard it was one of the best racing movies of all time, so of course I had to check it out. Big Brad Pitt fan. I've been a fan of his for years, despite the controversies. People have been upset about him coming back, as well as they should be upset about a few more people coming back, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm excited about checking this out. It was shot by the same director of Top Gun Maverick, so really interesting stuff to dive into. But what do you guys think of the video? Be sure to leave a like, comment down below what your thoughts are. You can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at SceneScreenGuru. If you want to chat or go into some movie news, I will be there. But until next time, guys, bye-bye. And have a good one. Take care of yourselves out there. And until next time, I'll see ya.